Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup with me, Neeraj Shah. And let's take stock of what's happening on the globe, because the day today belongs to what the global cues are suggesting. Ahead of the US CPI, India CPI and China CPI, as well as the Fed, Asian stocks have slipped. Remember, the most important thing is the Fed commentary, not the decision, but the commentary. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index has risen on Tuesday. This is the fourth straight session of a rise, and therefore keep an eye out for the Spot DXY levels as well. What else? Apple shares closed at record highs as it unveiled the AI software. Remember, yesterday we were talking about how Elon Musk is saying that, hey, if something happens here, we will ban Apple phones for our employees. People who come in will have to leave the phones outside. But for Apple shareholders, it's been a good day. Oil has held gains as industry report points to lower US stockpiles. And after falling consecutively for a number of days, the last 2 days, oil has been on an uptick, which is an interesting sign as well. So what did the US markets do? Led by Apple, Nasdaq had a good day, Dow Jones not so much. Asia is mixed. Hang Seng down, Nikkei down, Shanghai is flattish, ASX, Kospi, Straits Times. It's mixed with a negative bias, and I really doubt that the Indian markets would be showing something completely different. Flattish start with a maybe marginal downward bias. That's how the Indian markets are poised. Now, today's trade setup is not very different from yesterday, except for the components of what could move within that flattish move. So very unlikely to see sharp moves on the index today ahead of the Fed. We may see some movements tomorrow, but today, very, very unlikely. The option OI levels stay at 23,500 resistance, because that's where the maximum call concentration seems to be, and 23,000 support, because that's where the maximum put concentration is. So no changes there too. The only changes, yesterday we were talking about oil stocks being beneficiaries, oil upstream being beneficiaries, and all downstream and paint companies being negatives. Today we are talking about cement. Cement stocks may be in focus on price hikes. Now, these are potential price hikes. We do not have confirmation of the same, but a Motilal Oswal note, which will come up on your screen next, says that there's a price hike of 8 to 10 rupees per bag in June after many failed attempts by cement companies. Also, they say that demand improved in May after muted growth in the month of April. So therefore, watch out for cement counters. A lot of them were very active yesterday as well, and day before yesterday more importantly. Let's see if there is a further uptick today. In fact, yesterday I think some of the Andhra Pradesh-led cement stocks, KCP, Ramco, etc. came off, but the others okay. Now, if you're wondering what to buy in a scenario like this, let us get you what Citi is saying about cement. So Citi says that they are constructive on cement companies positioned to cater to India's demand growth and working on their cost structures backed by valuations. So Ultratech, which at an EV per ton of $195 is their top pick. They have a buy call on ACC, Grasim because of the holdco discount, Shree Cement at Dalmia Bharat. They are neutral on Ambuja Cement, and they have a sell rating on Ramco, Nuvoco, JK Cement. Now, if you believe Citi, maybe these are the stocks that you could look at. But if there is a price hike, then most stocks could actually do well. So keep an eye out for cement in the session today. What else? Tata Motors, the investor day. They held an investor day. Yesterday was Tata Motors. Tomorrow is Mahindra and Mahindra. It's an interesting week of 3 large investor days. Tata Motors is saying they're aiming for 10% EBITDA for console PV EV ops by FY30. They aim for the EV business to break even in FY26, which is also a big thing. They expect the CV cycle to continue for a long period, which aids the trucking business out here. Also implications maybe for Ashok Leyland. And they target the PV margins of higher additional 200 basis points in the coming years. So pretty decent commentary. For a stock that has run well in 2023, not so much in 2024, but 2020 was a rank blockbuster year for Tata Motors. This is not a bad update. Let's see if the stock reacts positively. I saw a few brokerages. Let me just try and see what they are saying as well. But I saw a few brokerages come out with their notes on Tata Motors, and I'll very quickly tell you 1 or 2 of those, if you will. Yeah, so Phillip Capital says that CV and PV profitability are yet to peak, and in that they have a buy call with a target price of 1170. So that's the Phillip Capital view on Tata Motors. There is also Morgan Stanley, whose target price is about 1100, which is about 11% upside. They say that the individual businesses are self-sustaining. Their supportive macro is aiding a longer CV cycle, and they believe Tata has delivered well on its business targets. So watch out for Tata Motors in the session today. What else? HCL Tech is interesting. In fact, this is the more interesting one to my mind today because they've signed a $278 million deal with Germany's largest co-op bank, primary bank, Apo Bank, for 7.5 years. Now, why is this important? For two reasons. One, there's an existing client, so they've deepened the relationship, and the fact that they have won a financial services contract, large financial services deal, augurs well for HCL Tech. So I'll tell you what Morgan Stanley says. They say that in the absence of any signs of a pickup in discretionary spending, we believe announcements of large deals provide incremental comfort on the ability of a company to achieve the full year revenue guidance. I reckon HCL Tech could react positively today. Watch out for this one. Then TVS Supply Chain, don't quite know how it will react, but it's won a 5-year contract with Daimler of none other, Daimler Truck, for integrated supply chain solutions in Singapore. Maybe the stock reacts positively. Let's wait and watch. What else? BL Kashyap. Now, there are two sides to this BL Kashyap story today, by the way. The 1,000 crore order win is interesting. It's also significant because the total order book is 3,500 crore, and out of that 1,000 crores is this new order win. So it's a large order win for BL Kashyap, which should be positive. But they've also got a summons from SEBI. The nature of SEBI investigation is not disclosed. And this, to my mind, might actually be the party pooper for BL Kashyap shareholders today. So I suspect that while they've got a large order win, this may just, unless clarity is provided, impact the stock negatively today. So watch out for this one. Very high volumes yesterday on this one, by the way. So that's the other thing to keep an eye out for. What else? Couple of block deals, and when Quant Mutual Fund name comes now, a lot of people look out for that. So Quant MF bought about 16.88 lakh shares at 130 of Om Infra. Watch out for this one. Watch out also for Ator Weldings. I was up 14% already, but two separate schemes. Manufacturing fund bought 2.79 lakh shares at 1255, and I think the PSU fund also bought about 1 lakh shares at 1255. So watch out for both of these names in the session today. And lastly, a couple of things. One, WordWizard. Now, this is interesting, viewers. The stock was up 17% because they said in the press release that they won an order of $1.29 billion. It's not an order. It's an MOU. And while they made that announcement, the promoter entity is going out and selling the shares. Now, this may be just a normal course of business. We are going to try and call the company and ask them, why did they label an MOU as an order? And when does it become an order? And if the business is looking so strong, why is it that the promoter entity is selling? Their stake has come down from 70% in September 23 to circa 65% or thereabouts, more or less. So I'm not alleging too much. I do not know details, but it does seem curious that if they've gotten such a large order win, why is it that the promoter entity is selling? It's not that their stake is above 75%, that they're to reduce it because of SEBI rules and regulations. So very interested in knowing that from the company. Was up 17%. Watch out for this one. Lastly, Vodafone. Now, this is not an official announcement, I must say. So the source is other media reports. We've not mentioned that here. It is very important to mention that it's another media report, but some other media houses are saying that they've gotten an in-principle approval for 14,000 crore loan from an SBI-led consortium. If this is true, it is positive for Vodafone. So let's wait and watch if that reacts. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. Have a great day ahead.